down the music just a little bit so I can hear you better. All right. Make sure Discord is muted and my All right, everybody, we are getting ready. I'll be switching over to the Yap Zone in just a second. Just wanted to make sure everybody's doing okay. I'm glad everybody's in here. Hi, Matron. Hi, Braddy. Hi, Han. Welcome in, everybody. All right, let's switch over to the Yap Zone. And then unmute Discord. All right, everybody. Welcome in to the Cafe of the Void. It is episode 5 today, and I have a very special guest. It is the one, the only Marshall Swampson.
Hello, hello, hello.
Do
Thank you
you,
for having me.
of course, of course, why don't you introduce yourself to to those in my community who don't necessarily know you yet?
Well, I am Marshall Swampson. I am a fungal archivist VTuber. I primarily focus these days on D&D content, though I do also have a stint for things like horror content,
Ooh.
um, uh, researching like true crimes sort of information and stuff like that, and also recently started a video series doing VTuber true facts in the style of Ze Frank, where we treat them like they're animals in a nature documentary, and that's been a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Oh my god, a fungus skeleton. That's
Oh
right.
yeah,
Hi, Arena.
Arena, don't Arena, don't you have the me version of that emote, or is that just not loaded up? Because Junie made a version of that for me specifically for them to when they got angry at me during D&D. It's hilarious.
They get mad at you, bro.
Yeah, I'm the DM, so of course they get mad when bad things happen to their precious little blorbos and main characters.
I mean, that is inevitable.
Hmm.
It
Plot
is
needs to happen.
exactly. But thank you so much for joining me today. I know last week,
Yeah, last
unfortunately.
week Discord decided to betray us and not connect for some reason, and so
Mm-hmm.
that didn't end up going too well. But no, I'm happy to be here, and I'm again sorry that it had to get moved around a little bit because of that. Specifically,
Oh,
earlier today, I had
oh,
some
no
errands,
worries.
and so we had to start a little bit like almost an hour later or something like that.
Yeah, it's honestly all good. Frankly, I have a whole lot of time right now, so
Well, that's always good then.
yeah,
Free time, gotta waste it somehow.
exactly. Now, first thing I need to ask is, how did you come up with the theming for your avatar? Because it's really fucking cool, dude.
Thank you. Well, there's actually two. There's a short, funnier version, and then there's an actual in-depth, genuine version. Which one do you want to hear first?
Uh, let's hear the in-depth version and then the funny version.
So the in-depth version is, as you can probably tell from like the facial region, Marshall is very, very heavily inspired by sugar skulls
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead is one of my favorite holidays to celebrate,
Ooh.
and so that was kind of the original. The original Marshall was a canvas painting actually that my wife made specifically as a sugar skull,
Ooh.
like creepier sort of looking, like it had decay and spiders and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked it because a big part of the culture around sugar skulls is a sweet substance in a bitter form. That's how you kind of look at death in those sort of celebrations. It's like we're
Okay.
remembering people who are gone.
Yeah.
It's sad that they're gone. It's sad that we can't physically be near them, but we have the memories. They're still alive, and so we can
Yeah.
all enjoy it that way. I always love to have that sort of worldview. I always
Mm-hmm.
describe myself as an optimistic pessimist. So I was raised with
Mm-hmm.
like hope for the best, expect the worst kind of things, and so
Oh yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
really identified a lot with that sort of mentality. And when it came time to kind of branch out his body further, I kind of had the same sort of view of that in terms of swamps,
Mm-hmm.
because when you look at something like a swamp, it is teeming with life. It's got some of the longest continuous living creatures we've ever had on Earth, like alligators,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
dragonflies, all these kinds of insects, and all these like it's so teeming with life. It's literally being choked out by how much like grass, foliage, and all this kind of
Oh
stuff is
yeah.
kind of falling in on itself and making it into this muck. And even beyond that, a lot of the algae
Mm-hmm.
in marshes are they provide like I think 80 to 90% of the oxygen in the world. Like you always hear about, we're going to plant some trees to help increase the oxygen, the airflow, and all that stuff, but no one wants to talk about the algae that's actually doing the heavy lifting
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
regard. So that was kind of what I wanted to push for in terms of growing out the character idea, is that he's a swamp, kind of like, again, teeming with life, but a life that no one really wants to acknowledge, or life that
Mhm.
people are kind of grossed out by, even though realistically we need those kinds of things, and they keep going, they keep trucking along better than most other forms of life can.
Yeah, because I would like my knowledge has degraded over the years, but I would imagine that given that swamps produce some of the most oxygen on our planet, we would want more of them.
Yeah, and even if not more of them, at least to take care of them. But you don't see people like maybe at the Everglades at best. But
Mhm.
most people aren't like doing. We want conservation for the swamplands. Plenty of people are like, "Nah, I don't care. I want to get rid of it. I want to drain it, and so we can put in some more, new development stuff
Yeah,
like
so
that."
we
It's
can
like
put in like a
you really,
condo and all
yeah, a
this other
condo, a
crap.
golf course, all this other kind of stuff. Like, you really want to do that? You want to perpetually like take a big bite out of just some of the biggest life in the world, so you can have another golf
Another
course,
fucking golf course. Fucking
another
assholes.
bunch of shells of house. Exactly, exactly. And
Fucking corporate greed.
the funny answer was, at the time I started VTubing, I was living in Florida, and I just
Mhm.
looked outside. It's like a big marsh out there, so marsh, bog, swamp,
Oh,
swampson.
there you go.
There you go. Yep.
And honestly, something that always caught my eye, especially when I first discovered you on Twitch or on Twitter, the design that you did, like you have for your
Oh yeah.
character,
Yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I give
I
you
got to give major.
mad props
You
for it.
should also give major props to my art mama, Barbara Bones. I believe. Yeah, I do have her
Yeah,
tagged on my Twitter.
yeah.
She is
I follow her.
phenomenal. You're
Yeah,
good.
I believe we're moots, actually.
Oh, that's fantastic. Actually, that's good. But yeah, no, she absolutely cooked with everything we had. I love the what she went with the strands of the mycelium being like
Mm-hmm.
muscles and then going into the
Yeah.
vest itself. That was fantastic. I also liked wasn't she was asymmetrical with it. So like the
Mm-hmm.
big bunch of them on the shoulder kind of look like a almost like a shoulder guard,
Yeah.
but only on the one side. Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, so hear me out, and no disrespect, but your avatar reminds me of Skeletor from Double Dragon Neon.
No, that was kind of the intention. It was both that and actually the Crypt Keeper. I sent that along too as inspiration.
That,
I specifically said
yeah.
I want to skull it. I want to signal there is no boyfriend experience happening here. Don't even attempt it, because I am the grossest, moldiest, dead thing you will ever find.
I
Get out of
love it.
here unless you want to hear about these really cool mushroom facts or trains. Otherwise,
Right?
yeah.
I love it though, especially because like it's unique. You don't see many like mold and fungus based
You really
VTubers.
don't. I've seen a couple of dead or skeletal types,
Yeah.
but yeah, I really haven't seen very many mold versions. But that's because it kind of goes against I guess you'd call it the meta of VTubing in
Mhm.
certain ways. We're getting away from it, or the meta is changing slightly year by year, but certainly from the start, it's not quite what people would expect,
Yeah.
especially given how, like, I don't even have like lips. Like, that's gonna be a nightmare for motion tracking.
Ooh. I mean, if you look at Undead's like Undead Commander's model,
Yeah, Undead Commander does have that a good point in there. The shading too is really
oh
fantastic for Undead Commander.
yeah, dude. I fucking love his model. And then
I love the Hawaiian shirt too.
Mhm. Right? It's so funny. I love his whole style where it's just like, "Oh, he's like a cozy skeleton."
Yeah,
It doesn't make too much sense normally, but here in the VTuber space, cozy skeleton. Now, I'm going to send these to you. A lot of people in my chat
yes.
have already seen these, but this is the prototype for my upcoming model because I'm going very unconventional as well. Like
Oh, that's always fantastic.
of course right now I'm kind of like anime-esque boy, you know.
elvish almost kind of.
Yes, very elvish in style. But this upcoming model, which I finally is now like fully funded, so in the next several months it'll be popping in at some point because I wanted to go rather unconventional myself.
Take a look. See here. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Okay. I see. I see it. I'm
Mhm.
picking up.
Yep. Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, that's a nice. No, that's a nice little face. Oh, is that like a predator kind of like chitin kind of mouth going there?
Yes. 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 Yes.
That's cool. I always love like unconventional monster sort of facial features.
Right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't see it very often.
You really don't. It's unfortunate. Why
And
do
I
you think it is that people are so like worried about detaching themselves from a lot of these more traditional
well,
VTuber?
I think part of it is that the VTuber space started with like the anime aesthetic, you know?
The Hololive idol sort of thing.
Yeah. And so now folks are afraid to really deviate from that because they feel like they would lose their audience, you know?
I've heard people. I've even heard people sometimes admit that they think that VTubers have to be a form of idol, or otherwise you're just a tourist, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard
And
that
yeah,
too.
no, because that's like I can understand the not wanting to lose the audience you've built sort of thing, but I feel that's very restrictive to people trying to build an audience.
Oh,
Period.
yeah, no, I agree.
Just coming in.
No, I agree because it's like now what you're essentially doing is you're placing a wall up around this community that shouldn't be there. Like
Yeah.
the whole point of VTubing is you're behind a model. It shouldn't have to be a conventionally attractive model. You
And
should
then they
be
complain why. Then they complain why every other VTuber looks the same, or why
Mhm.
everyone's getting accusations of plagiarism, like every
Exactly.
other day, every other week. And it's like, well, what do you want? You say you like
You
we
say
provide you what you say you want, and then you say no, and
and then
then
you
of
complain
course the
about it.
problems happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you're complaining
it's
about
that one. It's that one meme of the guy who says like, "I'm so angry. Here's a solution. I don't want a solution. I
I
want
want
to
to
be
be
angry."
angry. Exactly. It's like, dude, you want me to be different, but then when I try to be different, you go, but not that different.
No, I want you to be different, but in a way that doesn't make me feel uncomfortable and is too far from what I've gotten used to.
Exactly. And that's
Is that so hard?
it's so hard. Yes. It's basically an impossible standard. Which is why I'm going with this upcoming design where of course a bunch of things are going to be changed about it, but it is horror
I feel
themed.
like this is the best. I feel like this is the best time to do stuff like this when you're still growing, when you're
Mhm.
still looking for your niche, is to do stuff like this because you don't got people who are too attached to how it used to be, and you can
Yeah.
kind of forge your own way. Like I know eventually, like everyone, even those who make it, will have to make these just kind of decisions. Every alternate outfit is gonna bring up these worries about: are they gonna like it? Are
Mhm.
people not gonna like it? Am I gonna have any use for this model? Like,
Well,
I
look at the Zentrea situation that happened not that long ago.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because that was oh boy,
Whew.
that's probably I think it's got to be like the most nightmare scenario of it is people latching things on without your intention and then just
Mhm.
running with that.
Exactly.
I was thinking more of the worry of like Bow or Iron Mouse where they've got like
Oh yeah.
every month a new model. Everyone's like, are you even going to use this again? Like, Bow even makes jokes. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about Lemon Bow after like 3 months, and
Right?
it's like okay, why are you making a new model then?
It's like, well, what
But yeah,
was
no,
the point?
Zen had to be have it the worst because it's like, oh yeah, I of course this she's gonna want to do that rather than what animes have been doing for 20 years.
Right. And I mean, that model that she got done was based off anime.
And no, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh well, maybe anime shouldn't be having uniformed military personnel. It's like, okay, so you want animes to just not have
Any sort of
anything?
uniqueness,
Yeah, you just want. Why are you now suddenly gatekeeping this specific type of thing?
right? You'd be like taking away probably one of the best villainous characters of all time, S Death, because her
It's a
whole
trope. Like, yeah,
yeah, because like her whole thing is she wears like a weirdly almost like a very, very specific type of military uniform that you didn't see
Mm,
with too many other people outside one group that I don't want to say the name of because then I'd get flagged.
yeah.
But it's
Damn
like,
Twitch. Damn it, Twitch.
damn it, Twitch. But it's like I something about this community that I hate is that restrictiveness that everybody seems to want to drag everybody else into. It's like you're only supposed to be this one specific way. If you're not this one specific way, nobody's going to like you. Nobody's going to enjoy your content.
I'm of two minds to it, I sometimes feel, where my
Mhm.
mentality on it is I appreciate the passion and I understand where I guess we'll call it the gatekeepingness
Mhm.
of it comes from because yeah, when VTubers were like baby like back in 2017, people thought that they were just like an extension of Vocaloids or something like
Yeah.
that. The idol and the anime community really were the ones who came out and embraced the whole thing like wholeheartedly without
Mhm.
shame.
Mhm.
Like you had big names like PewDiePie or Pokimane like doing those filter things like, oh look, I'm a VTuber now, and like that's kind of embarrassing. So but now that it's becoming more and more mainstream, now that you got some of the top streamers on the entire platform are now VTubers,
Mhm.
suddenly like I understand people who are like, I weathered the storm of cringe, I
Yep.
weathered the embarrassment, and I don't want to like, I'm not gonna like you get defensive or you get protective of what you think it's supposed to be because you think these new people are just coming in because it's like popular.
Yeah.
Like I don't agree with it, but I understand that's why some people get antsy about VTubers also becoming face streamers once they get
Mhm.
a fandom, because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you only did this to build your fandom, now you're getting rid of it kind of thing. I don't agree with that, but again, at the same time, you have to weather whether this gatekeeping becomes actually violent or like aggressive or bad when you're kind of just being like,
Right.
no, it has to be this way, it can't evolve it anyway. It's like, no, even things like idol and anime evolve in different way as time goes on. Like
Like
shonen animes back in the 90s are not how they are right now, and that's not a
no.
bad,
And that's not a bad thing.
you're not you're not going to say like the mangakas and all the people who work on this stuff don't care about shonen or don't like have passion for it just because it's different than fucking Dragon Ball the Cell Saga.
Exactly. Like look at One Piece. Look at how much One Piece
Yeah,
has evolved. You
how
know.
much of it's changed. Yeah, all of the filler now actually has to have a storyline connected to it. I remember
Mhm.
I'm actually watching One Piece right now. I'm going through the anime at the same time as the live action with my wife right now, and I remember during Water 7, which is often felt as like the best arc in the entire thing, there was like an entire 5, 6 episodes that were just recapping because that was that old anime
Mhm.
trick of that they had to let the manga have a few chapters ahead for
Yep.
the animation, give them more time. So they just had 6 different episodes that were just recapping how each Straw Hat at the time joined the crew. They were aura farming, standing on that one castle
Yep.
on the other side of the moat from Robin for fucking 10 hours in universe. The drawbridge was coming down for 10 hours, going back up, coming down.
Right.
It's like,
Cuz you cuz like with One Piece in particular, the reason I know they did that and they will never admit it is because of what happened with Full Metal Alchemist.
oh, really? I actually haven't heard about this. What happened with Full
So,
Metal?
with Full Metal Alchemist, the original series overtook
Mm.
the manga and diverged from the manga because they
I
wouldn't
heard
let it
no, I did
finish.
hear about that.
Yeah, cuz they
I heard about that. Didn't Envy or someone like one of the main character or Wrath? Didn't one of them like Homunculus like completely different from how
yes.
it was in the manga and
Mhm.
Brotherhood? Oh
Yeah.
damn.
Like this is why most people don't like the original run of the Full Metal Alchemist anime and instead say that you should watch Brotherhood because Brotherhood follows the manga almost beat for beat, whereas the original version, like it for the first half it's fine and then the second half just flies off the rails and does its own thing.
Yeah, I can understand that because you do understand the manga is one individual person's vision, and so like the anime team has to like I understand why they wouldn't want that to happen and why they give them
Mhm.
more time. But
Yeah.
the main point was more that these days people are more willing to let longer breaks in the anime happen as opposed to back then in the 2000s when it's like, no, we need to keep it weekly. We
Yeah.
need to make sure there's a new episode every week, so we're gonna just give them a fucking Endless Eight Shonen edition,
Right?
and just have it give them something, even if it's telling them how Usopp was pathetic back then. Not now, he's not pathetic anymore, but back then he was super pathetic.
Exactly. It's just like, okay. So
Yeah,
we either get episodes every week and they're churning them out just like that, and they diverge from the manga and everybody is flipping their shit because now you've diverged from the manga and now mass hysteria. Or
yeah.
you wait for when there's a few more chapters of the manga release so then you can take off that. I prefer the waiting. I don't mind waiting for new episodes cuz I don't want another Full Metal Alchemist situation. Cuz
Yeah, I wouldn't want that either.
whoo,
Especially again, because you're so passionate for the original, you don't want this nonsense, and even worse, this nonsense that can say, no, it's the official. It's got the name on. It's got the Toei animation.
mhm. It's like, mm-mm, nope, nope, nope.
Nope, nope.
Cuz and I don't think people mind if I spoil the original cuz most people don't watch it unless they're looking to riff it. So, in the newer one, we got all the things that we predicted, like certain love partnerships became a thing. The ending was how we imagined it would be. In the original, in the original anime version, before they did Brotherhood, the main character gets teleported and time travels into the future into an alternate reality during World War II.
Like actual our World War II.
Yeah, he gets
Oh
transported into
well,
our universe during World War II, and
I'm just saying
he's never
the
able to come
fact that
back.
the okay, that's I'm just gonna say the fact that Edward Elric happened to be listening to the Führer in his universe. I don't like that he came to our universe, and because we also had a Führer at that time.
Hmm. And
That's
see,
that's that's not encouraging.
that's why a lot of people didn't like it because it was like, well, now he's
Yeah,
just going to listen to this new Führer in this alternate
yeah,
universe.
yeah. This is even honestly I actually can't decide if this is worse or better than what they did with Attack on Titan, with how that one went after the
Oh,
fucking seller, the reveal.
I have so many issues with Attack on Titan. I have so many issues
uh,
with it. Namely
I
the
gave it
fact
up.
that
I gave it up.
namely the fact that the mangaka is a was because he's I don't know what he's doing now that it's ended, but he's a horrible racist piece of shit.
Oh yeah, he says what happened to the Koreans. I don't think that constituted slavery.
Free.
It wasn't a bad thing what happened to the Koreans.
Uh,
It's like, are you sure? Are you sure about that, my good bitch?
you fuck.
Yeah, these statues would have to disagree. These
Right.
these mass fields of mass graves would kindly have a word with you, sir.
Yes, please. For those of you who don't
It's
know the whole situation with the Attack on Titan mangaka is he is a Japanese imperialist.
like
So,
wholesale. He
like
so he
wholesale.
he firmly believes that the comfort women and all the things that the Japanese government did back when
Mhm.
they were like in control of the Korean Peninsula was justified or wasn't
Mhm.
that bad.
Same thing with the Chinese. He really hates the Chinese too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's
unfortunately, he tried to make Attack on Titan go from just like faux zombie apocalypse action anime into political. Because I remember literally as he was thinking what was going to be in the cellar at the time,
mhm.
Game of Thrones came out,
Yep.
and it was a big thing about having these very complex political, moral intrigue, morally ambiguous characters,
Yep.
blah blah blah. So it's like, oh, I want to do that for my anime. So he made the reveal, and I don't think this is a spoiler. This is like what 10 years since this
Yeah.
came out or whatever.
Mhm.
That the people on the Edward, no, not Edward, fucking
Aaron.
Armin and all his friends, yeah,
Yep.
Aaron, Armin and all their friends were just prisoners on an island because their ethnic group was hated by the rest of the world,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
then just it gets worse from there. That's all I have to
Yeah.
say. An ethnic group got put on an island by themselves, and then it got worse from there.
Yep. Ooh, puppy. Pupper, pupper. But it's also the fact that if you didn't know this, I hate to spoil it for you. Almost all the characters Like, especially a lot of the main characters are named after Japanese imperialists and, a certain German group that we do not discuss. Oh, are you muted, dude?
Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the dog you heard, my buddy was signaling for someone, but we're all good now.
Alright, perfect.
So I had to step away real quick, but I'm back.
Welcome back. I was just informing the
No,
good
I heard
people.
I had my
Oh, you
headphones
had your
on,
head.
so I
Yeah,
heard all
yeah.
of that. Yep.
It's just like, "Oh, you're not helping your case here, buddy. I know you've been trying to do damage control on that. It's not
Yeah, like
working."
there's something you have to be careful when you're trying to be like morally ambivalent or not ambivalent or
Ambiguous.
present ambiguous questions
Mhm.
and then present it using real world stuff is
Yeah.
just
It's
it's dangerous at best, makes you look terrible at worst.
yeah, it's like you are no man in the high castle sorta deal.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a story that's like a show that did that moral ambiguity thing kinda right. Because of course, it's in each like, the whole thing is it's several different characters that you're focusing on, it's not just one. So, it's a lot
Mhm.
easier to, like, yes, technically, this person is the focus of this episode, but you're not necessarily supposed to like this character. You're just following the reasoning why this character does the things that they do. If nobody's ever seen Man in the High Castle, it's basically just an alternate universe where the Germans won World War II. So it's very similar to stuff like Wolfenstein, the Wolfenstein remakes, things like that.
I
It's
think that's the real way you have to like go about it is being very clear that just because they're the protagonist doesn't mean that they're the hero. Like you can
yes.
have a villain protagonist and like you need to make it clear that
Yeah,
you shouldn't try and justify the actions of someone that you're also saying is morally ambiguous because
exactly.
then it's not morally ambiguous because you're trying to play devil's advocate for it.
Exactly. It's like, well, if you're going to introduce them as this character that we're following, make it very clear whether or not we're actually supposed to like them. Because you can have a protagonist that people don't like. It's not that hard to do. You just have to make it clear. Like, yes, you are following this person, but you're not supposed to be supporting their actions. You are just watching them perform these actions and seeing their reasoning for doing these things. You don't have to agree with it, but just know this is who we're following right now.
And that can be fascinating at times to like
Mhm.
get in their worldview. I think
Exactly.
some of my favorite of JoJo's he's just following Kira around and seeing what he's doing when he's not trying to cover his tracks. Like
Mhm.
that's interesting. I would never want to be around him. I think he's horrible, but or going by the Kira,
Mhm.
literally that's the entire popularity of Death Note.
Yep.
Both L and Light, watching them do their thing. Like both of them are kind of like bad people in ways. L might be a little bit more subtle about it, but he's kind of Darwinistic,
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like Machiavellian in some ways.
Machiavellian.
But
Yeah.
he's still like doing arguably a good thing, even if he's not doing it for good reasons. But
And
still,
then, with Light, he's just a straight up sociopath. And they make that very clear. Like, as he's using the Death Note, he's getting more and more power hungry. And he's
yeah,
just
he didn't even need any sort of temptation. He just saw that it worked, and suddenly he's good to go. You're like, oh wow,
right?
this high status like high school student is absolutely insane.
Like, he's literally just a psychopath. And you know what? I don't like Death Note. I personally never really enjoyed it, but I can appreciate the fact that they made their main character a horrible, horrible person. Like, they didn't try to make him a hero just from the
I think they went
offset.
about it the best.
Yeah,
They went about it any anime I've seen. They did it the best.
yes, I agree. Like, yes, I don't like it, but I can appreciate the fact that they made this guy an unrepentant monster.
Mhm.
And by making him an unrepentant monster, you want to see his downfall. You want to see how his story ends and see him get the comeuppance he so rightfully deserves. And he gets it.
And And they do it so well because by like the second or third episode, anyone who might try and justify it, like, oh, he's extreme, but his intentions are still to make the world a better place. No, like the minute he tries to kill L just because, like,
Yep.
not even talk it out with him, not try and convince. If he really thought his worldview was a good thing, if his worldview was like, think he'd try and spread the message. He
Mhm.
wouldn't just immediately try and kill the guy for getting in his way. That's
Exactly.
not justice. That's ego. So like that is clearly defined, clearly established by episode 2. So
Exactly. Like
that's what makes it work so well compared to
mhm.
plenty of other shows that try and have a character where you're not sure if you're supposed to root for him or not, and they just fumble it.
Yeah. No, I really do appreciate that because it's like, okay, I'm not supposed to like light in any way, shape, or form. I'm just watching this man slowly like descend into this
Yeah,
pit that
it's
he's been
seeing
making
how
for
far
himself.
he's willing to go. It's
Yeah.
seeing how far it's the same quality or like the same interest of something like Breaking Bad.
Mhm.
It's seeing how far this person who was a perfectly functional member of society, how far they're willing to fall, how quickly.
Yeah. How willing are they to devolve like basically de-evolve themselves just out of and like with Walter White's case, it was initially started out of desperation and then he gets hooked on it.
Yeah,
And
then he
with
becomes prideful. There were plenty. There were every season. There's like 5 or 6 different ways he's presented with where he could get his original goal like that,
mhm,
but it wouldn't feed his ego, and so he
exactly.
turns it down.
And it's the same thing with Light where he he like not quite as many opportunities, but he was presented with a few moments where he could have gotten out of it and he could have stopped being a little shitbag, but he enjoyed being the little shitbag. And I think that's like the big thing is that he enjoyed doing it.
He had a god complex. He
Yeah,
he enjoyed. He wanted to. It wasn't about actually being justice. It was about being God,
exactly.
which is real. It's really good. It's really fascinating to see that happen too.
Mhm. Exactly. And you love to see how essentially this kid because he starts off what he's
Yeah,
7.
he
He's like
starts off he starts off as like a senior in high school, and then like after L dies, spoilers, he is like 18. He's technically an adult, but like
still
realistically, he's mentally the same person,
yeah.
so it's not that big a deal.
And to see
Like
essentially this
they have kind of a moment where on like the final episode where he's dying,
yeah,
he sees like the ghost of his younger self, and they make him look kind of smaller and kind of more innocent, but it's the same guy.
yeah, it's the same dude. And I think that's the best part is like you see like at the end because spoiler alert Light fucking gets killed by his own machinations, essentially. The death note
Yeah.
comes for him in the end. Like, the fact that Rook, throughout the entire thing, is essentially just waiting for all of this to happen, and you can kinda tell he has something planned in the back, like, every time you see him. Like, he's egging Light
Everyone
on.
people always forget that Ryuk just had another Death Note the entire time, and no one seemed to like. So many people just forgot about that once
Mhm.
L showed up, and it
Right?
became that cat and mouse game. And so that's honestly why it hits. It's like the ultimate Chekhov's gun when you realize, oh yeah, no, he's done. He's had his fun. This isn't fun anymore, so he's just getting rid of light now.
Mhm. And I love that because it brings up the fact that Ryuk is he's not so much a villain, but he himself is another great morally ambiguous character. He is doing
With Ryuk, I look at it as like blue and orange morality. He
Mhm.
doesn't have a standard type of morals that we would expect.
Yeah,
It's just he's so alien. He's just here to have some fun. So when it becomes not fun, suddenly it's bad.
yeah,
Suddenly he's gonna intervene.
and it's very similar, and I don't know if they took inspiration from this, but I kinda hope they did. If you've ever seen Hellraiser, the Hellraiser movies, have
Oh
you
yeah, I've seen those.
yeah,
The
the
Cenobites.
Cenobites, they have a similar weird moral grayness to them because 'cause they're not necessarily evil. The things they do are because of outside forces. In this case, with the Cenobites, it's somebody opens somebody figures out how to open up the lament configuration, the puzzle box, but the only way you can open that thing, and they make it very clear, is somewhere in your heart, somewhere in your conscious, you have to have a bit of that darkness that they're attracted to. Like, no random Joe Schmo is gonna be able to open the lament configuration. It's literally drawn to people that have that innate kind of fucked upness about them, and I love it.
It's it's those people who like literally like the main villain of the first one who
Mhm.
they decide I've had all the pleasure in life, but I want more. I'll do anything.
Exactly.
And similar, that's also as a DM. That's often how I explain to new players how like warlock patrons function.
Mhm,
Is
mhm.
basically whether it's like a lich or an undead or a fae or a great old one. It's they do have a sense of code. They do have a sense of right and wrong. It's just completely alien to
Yeah,
what the world around you in Faerun or as a player would be with like the deities as a patron.
exactly. It is just it's because they're an alien being, they're this being that you as a regular mortal creature could not truly ever understand. Of course, their morality is something you would never be able to understand either.
Yeah, they're literally from a place completely separate, like down to its very core. So why should it have the same structure of something like morality when it has nothing of the same structure of anything else?
Exactly, exactly. And I think that's where a lot of people, like, they have like, especially if you're a newer DM, I think that's a lot of the time where they struggle, like, if they want to have this big bad, like, they want to have some sorta eldritch god as their essentially their main antagonist, or the thing behind the main antagonist. I think a lot of newer DMs have a struggle with that, where it's like, the eldritch creature that you're trying to describe here isn't really evil, its morals are just so wild and out there in comparison to what we would understand. Th
Funnily enough, that's how that something like that is what I view about how newer DMs how they view having like a standard big bad like the Dead Three or Tiamat
Mhm.
or Shar or any of these other ones versus having like an eldritch otherworldly being is it's
Yeah.
kind of like that thing we were talking about earlier with VTubings. They don't want the same thing, which is the Dead Three, the princes, Asmodeus, all these like hell
Yeah.
beings, because that's done too often because they're always the bad guys, they're always the morally evil ones.
Yeah.
So they want to do this other thing, but the other thing they aren't willing to adapt their playstyle or storytelling style to
Mhm.
more accurately describe something like a Cthulhu enemy, where it's not so much that they're actively sadistic, it's just they want to have more information, they want to expand their knowledge, and they just don't prioritize
Yeah.
humans, elves, all these other beings. They don't see them as people, they see them as like ants. Like
Yeah.
maybe they'll treat you decently, but in the same way that a kid might treat an ant farm decently.
Exactly. You are you are so far beneath this creature, it does not perceive you as something essentially sentient.
Yeah,
It's
it's not going to monologue. It's not going to monologue to you because it
yeah,
doesn't think there's any point. It like you, it might the eldritch being might even think you wouldn't understand it. It only
exactly.
like deals with the its own servants because they've shown a willingness and ability to understand them,
Yeah,
and so
exactly,
they
exactly.
are willing to work with them, kind of thing. But like I've seen plenty of newer DMs who try and pull it off as like oh yeah, I have this Yogg Sathas inspired creature, and he wants to consume everyone. He wants to, you know, he has this big monologue about how he hates everyone. It's like, is he gonna do that? Do you literally like sit in front of a Big Mac and just say, "You puny, disgusting dead cow! I can't wait to consume your flesh and turn you." Like, no, you're not gonna say something like that. You're just gonna
No,
eat it.
exactly. Like, and I think when you do it right, it makes for such a compelling narrative. Because obviously, my whole shtick, like my whole VTuber shtick, is I'm an Eldritch Elder God who, according to his own words, wants to spread love, hugs, positivity, and kindness. But what does that look like to an Eldritch being? What do these concepts look like to an Eldritch being in comparison to a regular mortal creature? they're going to present themselves wildly different. And I think that's what makes those types of beings such great, like, I'm putting this in quotations, villains, because
Yeah,
they aren't always,
antagonist. You could put
yeah,
it as an antagonist. They're
antagonists,
not a villain, but they are an antagonist.
but they
Like,
aren't an
because
antagonist. Exactly. Yeah,
there is something like fascinating too about something that I feel is lesser acknowledged or lesser used is the anti-villain.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
everyone knows about the anti-hero, but some of the more fascinating characters I've seen are what I'd consider an anti-villain. Someone who has like arguably a heroic method of doing things or a set of standards that in other situations would be considered heroic,
Mhm.
but they're doing it in a way like one of my favorite anime characters is Alexander Anderson, who is
Ooh.
very very firmly a villain, very firmly on the bad side, but he
Mhm.
has a code and he has a certain method of doing things.
Yeah.
It's just that it brings it in contact, and like he is willing to work with the heroes for over a bigger bad, but only in the circumstances where they are like crossing between like against his morality more so than the heroes are.
Yeah. Like this bigger bad is doing stuff that doesn't align with his particular code of conduct. So he's just like, "You know what? We have a mutual enemy in this guy because I don't align with him and you don't align with him. We're still not technically aligned with each other either, but it's for both of our benefits that we take out this guy first." I love stuff like that because it makes like your antagonist much more three-dimensional. It's not just generic, "Oh, bad guy, good guy, blah blah blah." No, there's now like this third option in here that's kind of slipping through the cracks, and it's presenting itself like, "Oh, yeah, he's doing all this villainous shit, like he's doing all this bad shit, but at the same time, like he's still holding himself to a higher standard than, say, this other bad guy here."
Yeah. I feel like there's too many people who make anti-heroes basically into anti-villains.
Mhm.
Like that's the other like extreme of making an anti-hero who's basically just a typical hero but with a bad attitude.
Yeah, like I can point to an excellent example. Uh in My Hero Academia, Bakugo. He is he is like the quintessential, essentially, anti-hero for like the first half of the series, you know? Cuz his whole thing is he wants to be the best and he doesn't care how he's going to achieve that. So if he accidentally blasts his allies, whatever.
Yeah, they can walk it off.
They can
They can
walk
walk it
off.
off.
It's fine. But over time, and I say this as somebody who's not a fan of Bakugo because I've dealt with people like him before, I will say that he had an incredible character arc where he went from this braggadocio, arrogant asshole piece of shit of a child to somebody with who realizes, "Hey, my attitude is not getting me anywhere, and this whole like arrogance thing just doesn't seem to be working in my favor. I'm actually going to like
Mhm.
try and change myself. Yeah, I'm still going to have the attitude, but I'm not going to be quite as much of a dick."
Yeah. Do you actually do you want to hear something interesting about
Yeah.
Bakugo's English voice actor? I believe it was Clifford Chapin who
Mhm.
said something like this. I admit that I'm not the biggest necessarily anime fan these days,
Mhm.
like post college. So I actually haven't really watched that much of My Hero Academia, but I am very big into voice acting and voice talent circles.
Mhm.
And I found something really interesting. He gives a lot of really interesting insight into how people do the voices behind characters like that, like a character who is rough around the edges but needs redemption versus someone like Deku,
Mhm.
who is more like the plucky young kid who has to just step up, more
Yeah.
kind of thing. And he specifically, like, he actually auditioned for both, but and apparently this is a standard practice in a number, at least in the Funimation circles or the
Mm.
anime voiceover circles, shonen sort of things.
Yeah.
Everyone auditions for everything. Like, that's just how it has to be. Like, you have to audition for every single potential job that comes up,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
why you hear so much of the same voices over and over and over again. But apparently there is this thing where a lot of people, they know their talents or they know their strengths,
Mhm.
and he knew that he wouldn't be able to pull off a Deku, but he knew he could pull off something closer to Bakugo, and so he specifically would train or like practice the lines for Bakugo with guys he thought had a better chance of being Deku, so he could sound good against them. Because
Ooh.
apparently that is a big thing that a lot of voice directors, they don't just look at purely the voice, they
Mhm.
look at who do they want the main character to be, and then who as like the love interest
Yeah.
sounds good compared to him, who as the rival sounds good against
Mhm.
him, sort of thing. And so that was
Interesting.
always very interesting to see happen.
That's a neat bit of trivia. I didn't know that. Cause like cause I mostly watch it in Japanese. I don't really watch dubs too much. I don't
That's
know.
fair, but apparently I think I know that that's true in English, but apparently that might also be true
I would
in
imagine
like
that
the
would be
original
true in the
Japanese.
Japanese as well.
Yeah, well, especially because when you look at dubbing, both not just in English but in the world over, so many people, like there are entire people who make their careers being the official dub
Yeah.
voice of like Johnny Depp or Jackie Chan or people like that in like non-Chinese or non-English
Mhm.
speaking roles.
Well, it's cool with Jackie Chan how for his English for like his English like movies, like his American and overseas movies, he learned English phonetically.
Yeah,
So
that
it
well,
was
that's also easier to do with something like Cantonese, which is his
Mhm.
original language, that
Yeah,
has a lot more kanji to it as opposed to, and that's
exactly.
also led to a lot of funny outtakes. I think it was Rush Hour originally,
Oh, the
where he
rush
would,
hour stuff is so fucking
yeah,
funny.
and like so many times, like one of the best ones was he burst the door yelling cheese because he
Yep,
confused it for freeze, and that's great.
it's so funny. I Jackie Chan is one of my favorite like martial arts actors. He's probably one of my biggest inspirations for learning kung fu and stuff like that. And mind
Hmm.
you, I learn mostly mixed stuff now. Like it's not purely like traditional kung fu anymore. It's a bunch of different things. But he was the big inspiration because I would watch his movies when I was younger and even now and I'd just be like I want to be like that. I want to be that crazy acrobatic silly silly fighter who knows how to kick ass but he also knows how to be funny, you know.
He really did. He really did live up to the mindset that, like, especially with kung fu, like martial arts in general, but kung fu specifically, it's not just a form of fighting, but it's a form of meditation,
Mhm.
an extension of personality by going in for like the monkey style or the various monkey styles of kung fu and just making a comedic action martial arts career off of that.
Exactly.
It's really fantastic stuff.
Like if you watch like Drunken Master and the Legend of the Drunken Master, you don't see him doing drunken fist. You see him
Yeah,
doing a mixture of things. Like there's a bit of bagua in there. There's also like stunt work and there's prop fighting cuz that's what he's good at. He's good at
yeah.
introducing these new inventive ways of using objects to fight people. Like the various ways he uses like those little mini like
Well,
pick-upable
those
and
carts,
walkable.
yeah, the
Yeah,
tables, the little like stools.
exactly.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's great stuff, and if you haven't watched enough of his movies, you probably should, because it's a great look into stunt work. Like, even if you don't really care about the story, even if you don't really care about him as an actor, it's fun just to watch how creative and inventive everybody gets with the fight scenes.
Oh yeah, big time.
I fucking love it. Same thing with, like, Jet Li. Whereas Jet Li's his background is more wushu. And if you don't know the difference between kung fu and wushu, wushu is more the acrobatics. It's more the performance art rather than purely fighting art. And he even readily admits that he would probably get his ass kicked by a lot of MMA fighters, for instance,
Yeah,
because
by actual,
by like
he's willing to
actual
have that. He's willing to have that humility that
yeah.
someone like fucking who's the fat guy?
Oh, Sammo Hung?
Um, no,
Like
not like he's an action star from the past, but like not really.
mm,
Back in the '90s. Hang on, I gotta double check what his name was. Hang on. Uh, but he insists that like all of his fighting is like genuine. That he could probably take on real life
Oh, you're talking
fighters,
about
MMA fighters.
oh. It's I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. Hang on.
Cuz
Let's see.
he does
Steven Seagal.
yeah, Steven
Steven Seagal.
Seagal,
Yeah, he has that like flipping taekwondo. No, not taekwondo, but his
Aikido,
yeah, Akido, Gyatso, whatever it is, where he just like literally the people running at you are doing all of the
all the work.
actual like acrobat. Yeah, they're flinging themselves, and you're
Yeah.
just kind of like patting them down. It's like, but no, he insists. I am a living weapon. I could probably take on so many MMA fighters and destroy
And
them with
destroy
one punch.
them. He's the type of guy that would go like, I know dim mock. If Do you know what dim mock is?
No, what is it?
So dim mock was one of those fake, like, because fake martial artists, right? Those
Oh
people
yeah,
that,
absolutely. Well, back in the 80s and 90s
yeah,
when like it became huge in the
mhm,
states and stuff because of all these movies, everyone wanted to be a
like,
fighter. Everyone wanted to be like
yeah,
Vince Vaughn. Everyone wanted to be, but they didn't want to put the actual work in.
yeah. So dim mock was touted as the style known as the death touch. And I mean,
Oh no.
actual, like, there is an actual method behind this martial art that could have worked because it relies mainly on pressure point fighting. So
Mm-hmm.
you see characters like Ty Lee from Avatar. It's stuff similar to
Oh
that
yeah,
where
yeah.
where they're going for specific pressure points and
The
chi
chi
points
point,
on the
yeah,
body.
like yeah, messing with that,
Yeah,
hitting your nerve system
hitting the
basically.
nerves. Yeah, exactly. With Dim Mak, it was touted as this martial art that could kill a man with one touch, and all this other bullshit.
Oh yeah, no, they try and say, oh yeah, if I hit you on your temple in this way with like these 3 fingers, you'll be dead. You have a stroke.
Yeah. And see, here's the thing. There are points on the head where if I hit you in just the right way, it could kill you. It's very, very specific and it's really hard to fucking do because these points,
It's
these tiny little nerve points, you have to hit like really fucking hard. Like,
it's the literal mentality of like, oh, Babe Ruth once knocked the skin of a baseball off because
mhm.
he hit a curveball at just the right angle with
Oh,
just
thank
the
you for the
right
hydrated.
force
I
that
did.
he was able to, like, he could just re-hit it off. But
And thank you for the stretches.
it would be like saying every baseball player could absolutely knock the skin off of a baseball. It's like, no,
Exactly.
not really. Just
Exactly.
because one guy did it like 1 in a million chances doesn't mean that like
Everybody
everyone
can
can
do.
do it.
Yeah, and there's another movie that actually does this that introduces this style similar to Dim Mak called Dragon with Donnie Yen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically about this guy who his family is like a crime family. They're a family of murderers, thieves, all this stuff. And he learned this specific style of martial arts, this specific style of kung fu that does target nerves in a lot of its movements. And one of them that's introduced early on is he's going up against these two other criminals that don't realize who he is because he's got this whole persona now after hi Kaku, I appreciate you lurking, hon. Thank you, thank you. We're just talking martial arts stuff at the moment, but basically, he has this whole persona that's supposed to be this kind of meek vegetarian rice paper maker
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't want people to know what he used to be. And
The
that's this like
humble life, trying
yeah,
to escape. He's trying to escape the criminal life, but they just won't let him.
but they won't let
They
him.
just won't let him.
And so these two criminals bust into the place that he's working at, and of course, at the beginning, all the deaths of these criminals look like pure accidents because this guy doesn't seem like he knows how to fight anybody. He just ended up getting super super lucky. But
Yeah.
as you learn more, because the other main character is this detective, and he's like piecing everything together. He's realizing this guy knows how to fight and he knows how to kill you. So one of these criminals that this guy ends up finding out how he dies is he got hit in the Vargas nerve, which is right near the temple. And he got hit in such a way where it snapped. And so his brain, like the connection between his brain and his heart stopped. It was cut off. And that's how this guy ended up dying. And that's a real way you can kill somebody. It's just really fucking hard to do. Like, I couldn't do it. Even with
Yeah.
the 16 plus years of martial arts experience I have, I couldn't do shit like that, you know? And that's the same thing with this dim mock stuff. It was a fake martial art invented by this dude back in like the 80s after he saw like a bunch of kung fu movies and stuff and thought, "Oh, I can make my own style and everything." And so,
Do you feel like people have a sort of Dunning-Kruger with that sort of thing? Like they
mhm.
feel like they want to be better at something than they really are, so they just make up technicalities or make up these kinds of things
Oh yeah.
just to seem more impressive. Like what is like the appeal of doing something like that though when you end up embarrassing yourself inevitably?
And that's my thing is like I've watched documentaries and stuff about fake martial arts, like those guys that are able to beat a man without even touching him. Like they just kind of put their
Hmm.
hand out and all of a sudden this person is like flying back. Like it's so ridiculous, but at the same time you just feel really sad for a lot of these people cuz many of them believe what they're saying. Like they started this off as a way to make money and then they're like slowly over time they deluded themselves into believing it. And I think it's sad because you're like, "Oh, you really believe that you can do all this now." Like there was probably a point where you didn't believe it, but now you believe it.
I think it's because everyone like there are people who started like hyping them up in that
Mhm.
regard, and so they just decided. And it is sad, but at the same time, it's kind of hilarious in some ways.
Oh yeah, especially when they go up against like a real fighter
Yeah, and
and
they get their
and then they
absolute.
get their ass
It's cathartic. Yeah,
blown away.
it's like yeah, like AJ taking on what's his name, Jake Paul, Logan
Oh yeah,
Paul,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
of that is. Yeah, him being like, oh yeah, his left hook is nothing. It's not gonna like he's gonna go down one hit. Dude, like Paul just tried to get him on that, but he just no
Fucking
clipped it, no hit it.
boom.
Yeah, boom, took his jaw out in two places, and
Yep.
he's just like, oh yeah, this is what happens when you take on a boxer who's actually a professional in his prime, not retired with a back injury a
Exactly.
month before you fought.
I was watching oh, who was it? Somebody named like something Wolf on YouTube did a whole thing on this.
Mhm.
And he brought
Was
up
it the guy who did like the psychology,
yeah.
of
And he
boxers? I think yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
and he brought up the genius of what Jake did in that everybody he challenged was somebody that wasn't in their prime anymore. And a
Hmm.
further thing was he got like MMA fighters.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
when you take an MMA fighter, because obviously mixed martial arts, they're allowed to kick, they're allowed to grapple, they're allowed to do all these things when they're in their field. But
There's a variety in that.
yeah, but boxing does not allow for that. You're only allowed to punch. So you get an
So
MMA
they were.
fighter into a boxing ring, you've taken away about 80% of their skill set cuz now they
It
can't.
reminds me. It reminds me also of Andrew Tate when he tried to do
Mhm.
his advertisements for his camp or whatever
Oh
it was, like
yeah.
his
His
university.
man
And
camp thing.
yeah, he would do these like oh yeah, these Hakidos, like he'd have these 100-man boxing matches, quote
Mhm.
unquote, that he'd have, and all of his opponents, like he'd made sure that they were, they'd been doing wall sits for fucking 5 minutes at a time. They'd all
Yep.
like be winded and tired. Then he'd like punch them all out because he wasn't doing those, and he was still like fresh,
Yep.
ready to go. And he was like, I do this every single morning. It keeps me in my prime. It keeps me focused. It keeps me locked in, and that is the energy you are going to get when you are at the end of this academic university. It's like, no, no, it's
No.
not. You're a snake oil salesman, is what you are.
Exactly. And it's going back to the Jake Paul thing, it's why like when he went up against an actual boxer, AJ,
He
he got
fought. He
he
fought.
he flopped fucking hard because he finally went up against somebody who not only was in their prime but was a professional boxer. They weren't
Literally,
MMA.
literally,
They weren't a
literally,
retired
like
boxer.
the goat.
Yeah,
Like some people saying the best boxer we've seen since Ali.
yeah, because like of course he went up against Mike Tyson. But how old is fucking Mike Tyson at this point?
70. He's
He's
70,
yeah, he's
something
in
like
his
that.
70s now. The dude is
Yeah.
not in his prime. He is not a prime boxer anymore. And everybody was like, "Oh, he was holding back his punches against Jake." No, he wasn't. He was just an old dude who was finally getting winded.
Yeah.
Like,
I this actually I just remind myself of the flash. Have you ever heard of Flash Gits, the animation
yes.
channel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, no. This reminded me. They did literally an animation on this, and like they were kind of that opinion that this was Mike Tyson had some kind of like kickback with
Mhm.
Jake Paul and whatever.
Yeah.
But even worse, the whole like they ended. It was like there's still one more champion I have to beat, and they just bring in the coffin of Muhammad
Oh,
Ali. And you're like, oh yeah,
yeah.
this is who Jake Paul's gonna take on next to prove he's a good boxer. Like nah,
the corpse
this
the
is gonna be
corpse of a former boxer.
yes, the greatest of all time. Ah, well, I can still take him on even though he's not around anymore.
No, but like some of the conspiracy makes sense, but a lot of it doesn't when you actually look at like his track record. Because it's
Yeah.
legit MMA fighters who have now lost like 80% of their skill set or retired boxers. And then
And
one
then
fight
he
where
just
he,
built it. He just built it up from there, and
yeah,
then he started believing his own hype because he didn't think. Because that's another thing that infuriates me when he says like he has respect for
yes,
boxing and he's doing these
fuck,
clown shows and making
right?
these things happen. It's like you don't respect this. You're looking at it for a means to like make yourself feel good about yourself.
Exactly, especially after all the garbage you and your brother got up to.
Yeah, he should have been what his brother did and gone to the WWE. Because at least then, like, people would be willing to like let him be a heel or something. But no,
Exactly.
don't come into actual professional boxing, like actual
Yeah, like an actual
physical
martial art.
sports.
Yeah, don't come into
Exactly.
any form of martial art with this attitude
You
that you have.
you were a Disney Channel star. You were a Viner. You are not a professional boxer, and you are
Exactly.
making a mockery of the sport by just trying to like worm your way into professional fights without having paid your dues with all these junior divisions.
Exactly. Like with Logan, I don't like either of them. I think they're both awful human beings and they shouldn't have a platform. But at least with Logan, he he dug into the idea of being a heel on the WWE, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
he knew what he could exploit. He knew the type of audience he would be dealing with. So he was like, "You know what? I will be a villain because because this stage allows me to do that. It allows me to be the bad guy and I get glory from when people boo me." Whereas with
It's the perfect thing because with the
yeah.
WWE, especially, like the heels can sometimes be even more beloved than the faces.
Oh
Like you
yeah.
got like Ric Flair, you got
Mhm.
the Undertaker, some of the best my favorite personal WWE characters are mostly heels.
Mhm.
I there's not I don't have necessarily anything against guys like Cena or Hogan or
See, John
again
Cena is my personal favorite. I fucking love
yeah, no,
that dude.
I understand that. Like he absolutely, I feel like he did fit that sort of all American like poster boy. That like he was that proper face that they were
Yeah.
looking for after the Attitude Era. I absolutely can understand that. It's just for me, maybe it was because I was more watching WWE during the Attitude Age with
Mhm.
fucking Stone Cold
Oh
and all
yeah.
these other. So that was my time. So then again, I also can't stand The Rock, but that was more his age too. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just pick and choosing.
See, I think who was it? Oh fuck. He's another wrestler turned actor.
The Rock, Batista.
Yeah. See, Batista,
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, he was a heel for a good long time.
yeah, he was. His big thing was people would call him Boo Tista. It was
Yeah.
unfortunately it was one of those things where it was because people felt he was like being pushed too hard as like a baby face and they didn't like it. So that it was one of those things where they mocked him and the WWE just kind of tried to take that
Yeah.
and turn again, unfortunately, literally like what they did with The Rock. They tried to have him Rocky Maivia. People didn't want him
Mhm.
as just Rocky Johnson's like the new Rocky Johnson. They didn't want anything like that. So he did the Hollywood
Yeah.
heel turn. And but that was the thing with Batista was he was the face, then got the whole Boo Tista thing going, so got hated by the audience, and so he fed into that, and then he went into acting. And I gotta say, of like the three most well-known WWE wrestlers turned actors, bar none the best one.
Oh, I agree. See, it's him and then it's Cena for me.
Yeah, no. Cena understands his strengths. He knows that he's a bit less serious, so he'll do things like the Fred and the
Yeah.
Peacemaker show, and like those things work because he knows what he's doing with. Batista can do a comedic character and a dramatic,
Yeah.
like carry a dramatic scene as
Mhm.
well. The Rock is just, we don't talk about The
We
Rock.
don't talk about The Rock. I mean, I will say, I watched what was it, Mean Machine or whatever? The
Mhm.
Machine with The Rock?
The Machine, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He did a really fucking good job in that. He did really good. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, that can kind of be in his element because he's been in physical sports for
yeah.
almost his entire life. So he could, I feel like he could give depth to the character more so than any of the action movies he does.
Yeah.
So I could totally see that. It's just, it's more infuriating that what he has chosen to do
Yeah, no, I
over
agree.
like his
Like
career the
his
past couple decades.
his roles for like the past few decades have been pretty unfortunately like not good. Like he'll have a
They've
standout
been
role
they
here and there, but like for the most
they
part,
feel intentionally limiting. They feel
yeah.
like it's either this one where he'll be in like a khaki shirt and shorts,
Yep.
and then he'll be in like Hobbs and Shaw, something for Hobbs and Shaw,
See, and I
and
enjoyed him in
then
Hobbs and Shaw because I
yeah,
think
no,
I
and
think he
like
did I think
he's
he did a
good.
good job of being kind of like this arrogant but at the end of the day warm-hearted character where he has this machismo, he has this manly bravado to him, but deep down like he just really cares about his family and he wants to make sure that the essentially the world is safe. He's just
Mhm.
he's now going up against a guy who's not playing into his ego. And so he's trying to get that machismo going, you know? Because this other guy is
Yeah,
also doing this machismo thing. And so now they're butting heads because neither of them can stop being a fucking macho man for 2 seconds.
yeah, and those kinds of things work. It's nothing against his style. Like
Yeah,
I know for some actors they don't want to end up like what's the word
typecast.
yeah, typecast, and like for people who are willing to like be humble enough to not worry about typecasting and just appreciate the roles you can get and the fandom you have based even on typecasting, that's fine.
Yeah.
My thing was more just his penchant for just taking the same roles,
Yeah.
basically just playing himself over and over and over,
No, I agree. I
and
agree.
yeah, and also that really stupid clause he had in his contract that he can't lose a fight on
Yeah.
screen.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
where that's gonna take away all the, because even some of the more like masculine like action stars of the past could lose a fight. That's
Mhm.
supposed to be where the drama comes from. Rocky could lose a fight.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones could lose a fight.
Like and this is another
Fucking
guy.
Henry Cavill can
Yeah.
lose a fight.
And this is somebody that I don't like speaking ill of the dead. I really don't. But this is somebody that I feel like got too much hype and even after it came out that he was kind of a douchebag, he still got this air of hypeness around him. Chuck Norris, you know,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
like behind the scenes Chuck Norris was a horrible horrible person. But especially early on in his life, he was a genuinely good dude. Like I watched a segment from an interview that he was doing, and he faced off against a kid like who was doing martial arts at the time, and obviously he was letting the kid win. You know,
Yeah, yeah, of course, because you do something like that when it's just a kid.
yeah, when it's a child. But I know for a fact that there are some stars who would never let that happen. Like,
Hulk Hogan would never do something like that.
oh,
Hulk Hogan would never.
oh yeah,
Fucking 13-year-old wants to like show it off. Like, nah,
nah,
he's getting a people's leg right there.
right. And I think and it's the same thing with Hulk Hogan. I think like there are these guys that have become idolized, and then even though when it's found out that they're not great people, they're still
Mhm.
put up on this pedestal. And I think we need to stop doing stuff like that, where we put these people up on a pedestal and just think of them like godly in every sense of the word, even when it turns out that they're not a great person. Even Jackie
There is
Chan.
something to be said. There is something to be said about things like hero worship. I guess
Mhm.
you might want to put it.
Like even with Jackie Chan. I love Jackie Chan. I love his movies. I love watching him work. He's not been the best and greatest human being on the planet. Like if
Yeah,
you
it's you can sometimes I think like separate the art from the
yeah,
artist in regards to things like that
exactly.
by all means, or you'll go insane. But like you're not gonna like hate on Jackie Chan just because in his personal life he's not the best.
Yeah,
But yeah, you can definitely just like him for his movies.
exactly. Like I can enjoy his movies, I can enjoy his performance, and I can enjoy the physicality of what he does. But in real life, the man is not a good person. And there have been multiple stories outlining this. We still enjoy his
Hmm.
work, but as a person, like, yeah, he's not great. And it's the same thing with Chuck Norris, it's the same thing with Hulk Hogan. They've all had these things come out about them where it turns out, no, they aren't like this bastion of mankind that we thought they were. They're a human being, they're flawed. And
I feel like it's better to not go in with hero worship and things like that,
yeah,
like to acknowledge they are a person. I feel like it doesn't hurt as bad when it then comes out that
yeah,
something bad happened or that they did or that they weren't like the best kind of individual.
yeah,
Like I feel like for example, uh um I'm trying to think about a really good example. Like kind of like the personality or like the personification around someone like Tupac.
yeah,
Like yeah, people are like people don't really like have that same sort of gut reaction to like a Hulk Hogan kind of thing by hearing that Tupac was had like some skeletons in the closet because he was honest
yeah,
about that. He never like he never hid that away. He openly acknowledged. He openly had feuds over things that were petty, over things that were like just geographic or regional sort of things, but
yeah,
people still love him, and all the more tragedy that like that ultimately had nothing to do with what ended up killing him.
right? And like I'm bringing this back to Chuck Norris because with Chuck Norris, because we mentioned, oh, like in The Rock's contract, he's not allowed to lose a fight if he's doing like an action movie. With Chuck Norris, he let himself lose. Like watch him
Yeah,
in fucking the Bruce Lee movies or the
yeah,
Bruce
yeah.
Lee
Where
movie.
Bruce Lee literally grabs him in his chest hair and kills him by just like pushing hard. No, not do it.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. That's fun.
no, but like the fact that he allowed himself to get beaten to death in that movie,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's the same thing with Jackie Chan. Like when he and Jet Li had their first movie together, because everybody had been clamoring for them to have a martial arts fight, you know? We wanted to see
mm-hmm.
Jet Li and Bruce Lee go toe to toe with each other because they were the two biggest kung fu stars that were known in the West at the time. They did The Forbidden Kingdom, which I gotta say, I fucking love that movie. I know it did not get critical acclaim or anything, it was not perceived very well. I fucking love that movie. It's a great bit of like wuxia, like fantasy martial artsy stuff. And Jackie Chan and Jet Li play off each other so well in that. Because Jet Li in that plays a dual role. He's the Monkey King, but he's also this silent monk. And then Jackie Chan plays the god of drinking. Like he is the
Yeah,
drunken
yeah.
god.
He's the drunk.
He is the drunkard. And they have this great fight halfway into the movie in this temple, and they're showing off all the different styles they know, from going from like mantis to tiger crane, and then Jackie switches it up to like his drunken fist, and Jet Li's doing like an iron fist sort of thing. It's a great time, and they have such great chemistry with each other, and it's clear like, yeah, neither of them technically lost, but neither of them technically won either, which I think was the best outcome for something like that, because everybody would be clamoring like, "Oh, why didn't Jackie win?" or "Oh, why didn't Jet Li win?" Well,
It would literally be a real life death battle.
yeah,
Just those inactions.
exactly. And so they went with the best possible outcome of neither of them won. They are both equally skilled, just in different ways. And I think that's a great compromise for stuff like that. If The Rock like finally switched up his contract and
I mean, yeah,
let himself
because people were
lose.
also worried. People were worried also how that contract was going to affect things when he was still trying to be Black Adam,
Oh yeah.
and they're all right. He's going to fight. He's going to fight Shazam and Superman and not lose to either of them. Like, are you sure
Even
about
though
that?
even though within that universe he is a villain.
Yeah, exactly.
which is why
Just like
that
it
whole
feels like
yeah, which is why it fell apart.
yeah, big reason why, yeah.
Mhm. And then we were talking about Steven Seagal earlier. That man
That here's the thing. Don't I don't like bullying people,
Mhm.
but Steven Seagal, like sometimes when you're gonna make the claims he makes, like as uncritically as he makes them, it feels like he's just opening himself up to
Oh,
being mocked in those exact way. Because like
oh yeah.
you genuinely have to look at him, and it was like you were saying with those guys who like think that they are so powerful
Mhm.
with certain types of fake martial arts that they're literally
Yep.
hitting people without touching them. You have to like watch him and think, how much of this is he like genuine with, and how much of it is like him like believing his own hype, and how much of it is just an act at this point. Like
Exactly.
he's going on these like shows saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be training these police officers over here using his action move to show them how to hold a gun to police academy agents.
Oh
Like what?
yeah. Like how this is how I grab a gun out of an assailant's hands. Boom, boom. Like,
Yeah.
look,
It's like, okay, so what happens if he has a different gun or there's another person in
right?
the room
What
also
happens
with a
if you
gun?
have like several people who are all trained on you? And this is something
What
that
happens? What happens if the person is out of your arm's reach?
exactly.
They could probably be quicker on the draw than you can running at them.
Like, and this is something that my own shifus, my own teachers impressed upon me. If somebody has a weapon, you give up.
Yeah, there's so many people. I feel like when it comes to martial arts or like physical things like that, there's so many people who just believe what they see on movies and
Oh
television
yeah.
uncritically. It's like the Law and Order effect, where you
Hmm.
start to have a skewed view of the real world in regards to how those martial arts actually function when you're faced off with someone with a gun.
Exactly. Like, I'm not going to stand here, even as somebody with 16 plus years of martial arts experience. I'm not going to stand here and basically be like, no, I could take that dude a who has a fucking Glock in his back pocket. No, dude. If
You
you
don't think you don't think you can use your chakra to grab the bullets out of the air as they fire at you?
no, like, I'm sorry. Like, a knife is one thing. Yes, there are ways, and I was taught these ways to be able to disarm somebody who has like a knife or a blade of some kind. But as soon as a gun comes into play, you're fucking done. Because you're not going to be fast enough to be able to grab that thing. You know? That was
Yeah.
very heavily impressed upon me was like, yes, there is there is a scenario and there's like several scenarios where if somebody's just coming at you with a knife, you can defend yourself even if you don't have a weapon of your own. But as soon as somebody pulls out like a 9 millimeter, you fucking give up and you give them what they want. You know,
They take out their 9 millimeter. You just gotta take out that 305 and be like, oh yeah,
you
you
thought I
thought I
only
was
knew the ways of the fist.
yeah.
Looks like I
I'm gonna
also
take
know
you
the
down
ways of
with
the
the.
bullet.
It's like, look, this is just progression. I didn't want to do this, but you took out a gun, so now I got to take out my. Just
Exactly.
start taking out bigger and bigger calibers until
Right.
someone just eventually runs out.
Until it's just a nuke.
Yeah, just a big boy, a fat man from fucking Fallout.
Right. But I find people like Steven Seagal who I think my personal opinion of that man is that he's feeding his own delusion. Like
Mm-hmm.
he cannot differentiate reality from his fictionalized beliefs at this point cuz
Mm-hmm.
he's now going out to like agents and stuff and saying like, "Oh, I'll train you in aikido and stuff." And yes, aikido is a legitimate martial art. It is. But it is not the be all end all martial art. Like it
Yeah,
has its
yeah.
uses.
It's not gonna be like the thing that gets fixes all your problems the way he does it.
Exactly.
And arguably, there are other forms of martial arts that do a better job.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been doing kung fu for 16 plus years. My teachers did a mixture of traditional forms and traditional stuff with more modern stuff. So like MMA, we mixed MMA into it. Like, yes, I can use some of my traditional techniques and mix them in to the more modern stuff, but I shouldn't be just relying on traditional because it's obviously really old. It has not adapted itself well to more modern styles of fighting like MMA and Jeet Kune Do and stuff like that. So you have to be able to mix and match. You have to be able to adapt yourself to other ways of fighting people. You can't stick to just traditional. And my teachers were really good about that. They were like, "Yeah,
Mm.
these are great forms. They're great ways to exercise and they're great ways to learn techniques that you can implement. But at the end of the day, they are traditional and they aren't adapted very well to a modern fighting aesthetic. So we're going to teach you more MMA stuff for like actual fighting, you
Yeah.
know?" And I
Yeah,
think
because you
that's
want to have actual force
yeah,
behind your hits.
exactly. And I think that was the best way to go about it is yes, we're gonna teach you the older stuff because it's good for your health, it's good exercise, and it looks really fucking cool. And yes, you can mix it into these things, but at the end of the day, you should be relying on these more modern style techniques if you're actually facing people. Like if you're
Mhm.
actually getting into a fight, use these more modern techniques and maybe slip in like the cool heel palm technique or that really cool elbow technique that we showed you. But don't rely on those. Adapt yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people like Steven Seagal lose the plot is they're relying on these techniques that at one time or another, yes, they were quite useful because they were going up against people who didn't have all these different like guns and stuff or like a long fucking sword pole, you know. They were used
Yeah, yeah.
against people who were also just using their hands. You can't solely rely on that. I'm sorry. It's not realistic.
Again, I think it's more that Dunning Kruger or like that
Mhm.
ego. It's the same thing like I was mentioning earlier when in voice acting or voice sort of circles,
Yeah.
uh, when people do those one man 100 impressions
Mhm.
type of things, where like sometimes I watch those and I'm just like, these aren't really 100 impressions. This is more just like you saying you're gonna do someone than using your own voice. And
Yeah.
like sometimes I wonder, are you actually delusional enough into thinking that you did an actual good impression there, or like are you just trying to puff up your own sort
Yeah.
of vocal stims or vocal abilities in that kind of way? Because that's another thing I feel a lot of voiceover artists get concerned with or get kind of like a bit of a chip on their shoulder about,
Mhm.
is this feeling of having quantity over quality, or like quantity is more important than quality.
Yeah.
You should be able to do all these different voices because look at all these other famous voice actors who you can't even tell that they're doing it because they have so many different types of voices. And it's like that is a skill, and
Yeah.
that is something that should be respected. But there are plenty of people who also you can recognize them at a snap because they have the exact same kind of voice they do. They just do it very, very
Yeah.
well, that they become like sought out specifically for those kinds of
Those roles.
roles or those
Yeah.
kinds of things that they do. Yeah,
Like John DiMaggio. I
yeah.
l-
John DiMaggio
I
or
love
Gray Delisle as well.
Mhm.
Gray Griffin, whatever she goes by these
Yeah.
days. Like same thing.
I love John DiMaggio. I think he's a fantastic voice actor, but he's very easily recognizable
Hmm.
and he plays into that. Like and I
Yeah,
think
that's the thing. You should be able to. I feel
yeah.
like a lot of people should just take what they're good at and focus on that, as opposed to trying to be literally and trying to be the next Mel Blanc,
Yeah.
trying to be the man who can have like 50 different voices. Like we don't do that. The reason Mel Blanc was doing that was because unions for voice actors were non-existent
Yeah.
back then,
And
so they
he
just used him for exactly that.
yeah.
But we can't do that anymore.
Like I'm at the start of like my voice acting journey. I've got a script that I'm going to be doing later on that I have to record
Mhm.
for. It's for a tabletop thing that I'm going to
Yeah,
be doing with my friend Geo. But
yeah, yeah.
right now I know how to channel a certain character. Like that is the extent of my ability at the moment. I'm good at inflection.
Mhm.
I'm good at like a few different accents, but I won't claim to be like a fucking phenomenal voice actor at just the start of my journey. Like,
The way, yeah, the way that Jim Cummings, a very famous
yes,
voice
I
actor, once
fucking love
put it
Jim.
is, oh yeah, no, he once put it, if you can do a good impression, great. You can play that character if it ever becomes available.
Yeah,
If you do a bad impression, there you go. You have an entirely new voice that you can make into a new character.
exactly.
Like so, like the way I apply that, I play around with voices, inflections, stuff like that all the time. I can do my every single party I've ever had has loved my Dr. Doofenshmirtz voice because I can do a
Oh, nice.
like perfect Dr. Doofenshmirtz voice. Everyone loves it,
Mhm.
but I can't be like under the delusion that I'm gonna play Dr. Doofenshmirtz in an official like
Capacity.
thing
Yeah,
capacity. Yeah, so I do need to find voices that aren't immediately recognizable. They aren't immediately this one character,
yeah.
so that you can be more variety on that.
And see,
But
like with mine.
it's a thing.
Oh,
Doing a good impression is more like a party trick than
yeah,
something you should probably devote so much to because people will inevitably just say you're trying to do this character, not a new one.
yeah. Like with me, it's Shaggy from Scooby Doo. I have a really good Shaggy voice, according to everybody. Like Soing Scoob, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that is that's a really really good one. Yeah.
And like, I'm happy I know how to do that, but I don't
But
want to be.
do you really think Matthew Lillard is going to retire anytime soon
No,
after that year?
no, I don't. I'm not under
Yeah,
the
exactly.
delusion that would ever happen anytime in the damn near future, and I'm not looking for an opportunity to do that. It would be really cool, you know. It'd be
Yeah.
really fucking cool if I could land like in a fan project or something and they wanted a Shaggy. But at the end of the day, that's just one voice, you know? And I'm not going to
Exactly.
rely
Exactly.
on that one voice for everything I do as an up and
Yeah,
coming
you
voice
should. Yeah.
actor.
And you were willing to do that voice, so let me just real quick give my
Yeah.
impression as for some conglomerate. No, it's some what's the word? Uh, not sympathy, like connectiveness. What's the word I'm looking for?
Oh,
I can't even think about it right now.
collaborativeness.
Yeah, just like no, like you put yourself out there. I'll put myself out
Yeah.
there real quick. You see, Penny the Platypus, it all started on the day of my actual birth. Both of my parents failed to show up. There you go.
That's really
Yeah,
fucking good, dude.
yeah, exactly. Everyone, every single D&D game I play, they are waiting for the one character who'll pop in, just going, "Ah, Perry the Platypus! What an unexpected surprise!" Like something like that,
That is
and
phenomenal.
they immediately adopt the NPC, and they're just tell us about your plans. Do you have an innator? And I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What's this
But yeah,
innate that you're talking about? Oh,
I work specifically in potions, you understand. I don't know what an innator is. But
what
yeah,
is
so
this? Harry the Platypus.
yeah, yeah.
I love it. That is
But like I
phenomenal,
said,
though.
it's a good party trick.
Yeah.
People like immediately want to hear it, but I don't really think that Disney is ever going to actually hire me as like an understudy
Yeah.
for like Doofenshmirtz exclusive voices, especially because the Swampy's still alive
You're
and like
right.
he's still doing that voice on TikTok to his heart's content.
I love Swampy. He's such a cool dude.
He's phenomenal.
But yeah, no, it's one of those things where I think a lot of people, I- and this is my problem with like Hollywood in general, surrounding voice actors, and why I'm so annoyed that they don't give more voice actors opportunities. It's because a lot of these studios just want name. They want the name attached. They want.
Exactly. They want that. That's why so many of them give Chris Pratt Mario. Like
Yeah,
they don't want the actual unique, distinct voice. They want the celebrity playing the character.
yeah. And I think with Chris Pratt, like I'm annoyed that he's in so much stuff, but he does capture Mario pretty well, like kind of the Brooklyn
He can
doof,
get like
you
yeah,
know.
I can sort of see that. I would be more frustrated with doing Space Jam 2 and getting rid
Mhm.
of Lola Bunny's voice actress.
Yep.
Like only Lola Bunny's voice actress, just to have Zendaya as no as Zendaya
Yeah.
as like name appeal.
Yeah.
When Gabriel Iglesias became Speedy Gonzalez, like that was perfectly fine because he can do voices.
Oh
He
yeah.
can do the voice. So like it wasn't really we're having this big celebrity play this character now. It's no, you're giving a natural person who can do the voice who
Exactly.
happens to have more star power. With
Exactly,
Lola
exactly.
Bunny, there was no excuse whatsoever. The rest of the cast still had to be who they were.
And see, I like her a lot in other things when she's
Yeah,
not a
no,
voice actress.
she's a good actress. She's a good actress. That's the thing. But you can tell she's not doing it because she's not doing a voice that has ever sounded like what Lola's doing.
Exactly. And I think that's like the biggest problem with a lot of these like we want a name attached is you're grabbing people who clearly aren't comfortable being in a booth and just doing a voice. Like they want to be moving, they want to be active.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
want
There's
to
a
they
there's
want
a
to
very
embody
have you
their
ever seen
performance, you know.
exactly have you ever seen the and the other thing too is uh, cartoon characters or like characters in general, fictional characters are their voice.
Yeah.
Like you can morph them around, and their actor can look different to them in any regard,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they are their voice. It's important that they have that distinct voice because that's what humanizes them. And
Exactly.
there was a very fantastic bit in I don't know if you've seen it. It's a movie called Not Just a Goof. It's basically a documentary on the creation of a Goofy movie,
Oh, I've heard of it. I
where
haven't watched it yet, but I've
yeah,
heard of it.
it's pretty good. It's pretty
Mhm.
good. But there was this one bit where they were talking how Jeffrey Katzenberg wanted to have Dean Martin play Goofy, and
Really?
they were like, "Wait, do you want him to?" Because like the current voice for Goofy, he's been there since the '80s, so
Yeah.
like he'd been voicing all through Goof Troop. He'd been voicing all the official things, and they're like, "So wait, do you want Dean Martin to play?" Like do the go voice like no he's gonna do his own voice and like the entire like crew were like Jeffrey please like Goofy isn't an actor he isn't a comedian he is just a goofy voice doing all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff they didn't want to have but like Jeffrey Katzenberg but think about how you could sell that like that's kind of why so many DreamWorks productions will have a main character voiced by a-list celebrity
Yeah.
that's literally how his mentality going in was and it took them going in with the voice actor for Goofy, Frank, and literally just having him like, okay, just redo these lines using your normal voice, so that they could show to
Mhm.
Jeffrey that like if Goofy is not like it's not going to sound good just because you have a comedian doing it.
Yeah.
You need to have you need to have like the Goofy kind of
Yeah.
thing going. Yeah, exactly. And it's yeah, you have to have those kinds of things going.
Yeah. No, and I agree because there are a few like celebrity voice actors. Obviously, I can point to like Frank Welker. You know,
Mm-hmm. Oh
people.
yeah, Frank Welker, who is louder than a lion with a trash can, apparently.
Yes, like I
Able to
can.
do those roars, fantastic. Yeah,
Hmm. Like I can point to guys like that where it is a voice actor who gained celebrity status because of their voice, but
yeah,
then unfortunately, these studios aren't going with guys like Frank Welker. Obviously, I think for the most part he's retired at this point, anyways. But you're getting people who you want the star power for, like the Chris Pratts or like The Rock. You know, you're getting these people
yeah.
to do voices, and I think with The Rock, he at least tried a little bit.
He didn't. The problem was he doesn't really have a good Broadway singing voice, and
Yeah,
that's what all Disney musicals are. They are
yeah,
traditional, like ever
Broadway
since the
musicals.
'90s.
Yeah,
They have been written as a Broadway musical. He does not have the range. He does not have the vocal flageolet, the intonation to
yeah,
carry it. So they were able to make like "You're Welcome" is a fairly simple song. Like it's
yeah,
not a showstopper, and like it was able to just be carried by his charisma and his head voice more than anything
yeah.
else. But yeah, absolutely, they didn't hire Rock as Maui because he was a good singer. Is the
No.
thing.
They hired him because he had a certain charisma to him that did lend itself really well to this character that he was voicing. Like
Yeah,
that
and he's also
arrogant
perhaps he's also like in the U.S. probably the most famous like oceanic Pacific Islander like
yeah.
celebrity period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like it fit with what they were going with for the setting.
And then unfortunately, we now have him in live action
Yeah,
as
now
Maui.
unfortunately we now have to watch him without nipples walk around with a bad wig.
Oh fuck that wig, dude.
I know.
If
Because
you got
for a guy who says he shaved his head because he just can't do hairstyles very well,
hmm
why would he give himself
why
a
would
wig?
right?
He
Like
should be the first man criticizing how he looks in this movie. Like, what the hell?
right? Like I'm surprised he hasn't started riffing himself. But I think
But you can't do that until the movie comes out because then
yeah,
that might cause contractual problems. You can't criticize the movie until
until it's released. Ugh, I hate it.
yeah.
But if you guys haven't seen it yet, the live action trailer for the new Moana live action movies coming just came out not that long ago. And of course they brought The Rock back to play Maui. Two big problems. One, he's bald, and two, he's not a chunky boy.
Yeah.
Cuz Maui is not he is not muscle man, you know? He's like
Well, he's a
actually
strong man.
he's a strong man.
He's not a muscle man. He's muscle man from regular show. He's strong, but he's built rather like heavy set.
Yeah, he's what you would imagine an actual strong man looks like, where it is fat. It's a lot of fat and muscle mixed together. It is not just purely muscle.
Mhm.
And this is how you see like your Vikings, for instance, or your Celts. These are guys who when they build themselves up like muscle wise, they're still hefty. They're still big boys and big girls.
Yeah, they don't show abs until
Yeah,
like they actually lose weight for
yeah,
crying out loud. Like they have to get weaker in order for the abs to start showing.
exactly. And I will say this as somebody who has watched these like strongmen. Hello, Onion. Welcome in, dude. But for these people that are like, oh, those Mr. Universe contests where it's purely just about the physique, those guys could take on like a strongman. No, they fucking couldn't. Have you seen what some of these strongmen can do? Like, I think one of the most famous ones, like famous examples, was the strongman from like I think from the US, pulled a train
Yeah, just with his jaw.
just with his jaw. Like, how fucking scary is that?
Yeah, he's got like some punching power to him. Like he just needs to get you once,
Yeah,
and
you are giblets.
you are atoms.
Mhm. That's right. Most bodybuilders can't pick up a bag of quickcrete because it's all muscle. It is there is nothing of
There's no
substance in.
energy.
Yeah,
There's
there's
no energy to actually feed off the muscle.
exactly. And so I love it whenever like you see like people like especially now cuz there's the God of War show that's coming out.
Oh
People are
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Who are they going to get to play Thor?" Like, shouldn't it be like Chris Hemsworth? No. Like I love Chris Hemsworth. Dude's really fucking cool and he has a lot of physicality to him, especially in his later roles like what's that one from Netflix? Hi Desi. I'm doing great. How are you, hon? We're just yapping and chatting. But oh, he plays like an ex Black Ops dude who has to go in and rescue this kid from a group that's based extraction. That's what I was thinking of.
Extract. Okay, I
Yeah,
know the one you're talking about.
yeah, where he's kind of like this big, and in that movie he actually has a bit more of a relaxed physique where he kind of has some punch to him. But I'm glad to hear that. Well, we're just hanging out, so feel free to just listen in as we yap and yap and yap. We're just talking about like the difference between strong men and bodybuilders. And exactly, Onion, Thor has always been overweight. Because here's the thing. And this is why
He was always described in so many of his different stories too. Like he could eat and drink like no one else. Like there was that one
I'll do those sit-ups at
legend.
the end. But
Uh, whoops, sorry. What do you
no,
say?
I was just talking to Onion cuz Onion redeemed the sit-ups. I'll do that at the end of the
Okay,
stream. But
yeah,
yeah,
sweet.
no.
No, so the legend of Upgird Loki,
Yeah,
where
Utgard.
he had to take a swig from his drinking horn, and
Mhm.
dude like downed enough of the ocean that it actually went like noticeably down a few inches. Like he
Yeah.
was able to put away a lot of liquid.
Mhm. And here's the thing is like Vikings, like actual Vikings, were not these bodybuilder-esque looking motherfuckers. They were fat. They had beer guts. These were hard drinkers, you know?
Because they also weren't like they weren't trained fighters. They were mostly just doing it for like raw power.
Yeah.
So
And that
whatever did the job, did the
yeah.
job.
And see, that's what made them so scary. Is these were big hulking bear-like men who could outweigh you when they swung. Like if they swung an axe, it wasn't just them swinging, it wasn't just their arms swinging their axe, it was their whole body. And these were hefty, hefty, muscular guys. How fucking scary is that? And then
There's a whole have stories of like berserkers just holding a bridge by themselves
mhm,
because they're big enough. Like, ugh.
because they're fucking big enough. And then you get people, and this is one of my reasons that I don't like Marvel and how they adapted Thor, even from his inception. They should
Mhm.
have made him heavy. They should have made him a big, heavy bear-esque man. Because at the end of the day, having him just be like bodybuilder type, it doesn't
Mhm.
work. Yeah, I love when people don't think that someone large or overweight is strong. Like my guy, I'm not skinny by any means. I'm not rolled down the road fat either. But the first time I went to the gym, I maxed out the abs machine, 700 plus on the leg press and 300-pound deadlift. Never been to a gym before that. See, that's the thing, is because you are feeding.
Sometimes it's about how you pack it on. It's
Yeah,
not always like because that's another thing. A lot of people, it is important to have like a cycle when you're at the gym to
yeah,
make sure that like you're not because all the different muscular systems have to be in rhythm. Otherwise, you're not going to make progress.
yeah,
But there are way too many people who are just like focusing on the aesthetic muscles
yeah,
too much to the point to their own detriment, whereas the functioning practical muscles they're not feeding.
exactly. Like, and it's one of the reasons why I'm glad I started off with martial arts rather than like gym, like going purely to the
Mm-hmm.
gym, because I knew I would probably fall into that trap. But
A
now
lot of people do because they
yeah,
it's the self confidence thing. It's a lot of them doing that.
yeah. And I didn't want to fall down that rabbit hole of like, oh, I'm just building up muscle, but I don't have it to where I could apply it to anything. So I'm skinny. I'm 110 pounds. You know, I'm tiny, but I am deceptively strong for how I look. And that is because of the martial arts. Like I can throw somebody who's probably a couple 100 pounds bigger than me over my shoulder because I know how to apply my body and I know how to apply their body. The
Yeah,
best
it's more about technique than just wrath kind of stuff going like that.
and I think that's another issue with a lot of martial artists is they like a lot of these more celebrity martial artists is they don't think about that.
They don't appreciate it too much either.
Yeah. It's just like no, it's not just because you're big. It's because you have an applied technique that you know how to use and you know how to use your body with it.
Yeah.
Like I think a martial artist I can point to who has been a huge inspiration for some of my more recent like MMA-esque stuff is Iko Uwais from Indonesia. This is the guy who was in like the Raid films. He was in one of the more recent what's that movie that uh Sylvester Stallone did? Um The Expendables. He was a villain in The
Oh,
Expendables.
Expendables. Oh, those are big ones.
Yeah.
Those are big ones.
Yeah, he was a villain in the 4th movie. And mind you, this guy is he's small too. Let me look him up. Go.
Hey, Hug Wizard, I'm really sorry I'm gonna have to do this, but I might have to cut the stream short
Oh, no worries,
or the
dude.
interview short right now because I got to go
Oh, no worries, man. No
handle
worries.
something. Yeah, sorry, medical things. I probably should have forewarned or said something like this. I'm actually
Oh,
the
no worries, dude.
primary caregiver for both my granddad and my wife,
Mm.
and so sometimes I mentioned that actually last week, the nurse kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he actually needs my help right now, so I'm gonna have to.
Oh, no worries,
Oh,
dude.
thank you. Yeah,
Please,
no,
please
don't worry
go.
about it,
Please
Onion.
go.
I'm happy to do that. But thank you so much for having me on. Thank you so much for your time, and I
Of
certainly
course,
would
dude.
love to hang out another time again. Maybe when
Yes.
there's a bit more structure,
Yeah,
something doesn't
yeah.
come up. But
Hmm.
this was
Definitely.
actually so much fun. This is a great time.
It really was, dude. I'm happy.
We have we have way too much in common
We
to be able
do.
to fill talking.
We really do.
Can't fit it in for 2 hours, right?
We do. But no, it was a lot of fun having you, dude. I really do appreciate you coming on, even for the limited time that you had. I'll
Of course.
definitely set something up with you again. Maybe it won't be something like this. Maybe it'll be like a game thing, but it'll be something.
Oh yeah, games are also cool. I'm getting into Marble Rivals, so if you
Ooh,
happen to have that,
I
that's something
do.
that I
I
could probably do.
do. We can play that
Oof.
together. Hi, Shadow Queen.
Ah.
We're
All right, but
actually,
thank you again,
yeah, no
and
problem,
I'll
man.
catch you around.
Yeah, catch you later, dude. All right. So Shadow Queen, you came in at a weird time. I'm a Lord Blade if you'll have me. Ooh, yes. Hell yes. Definitely Onion. You're I'll get you in on this. But we're actually going to be piecing out of here real soon. Unfortunately. Let me take off all this stuff. What was one? Nope. Bring that back. Hug, I'm gonna fight you. Why are you gonna fight me? What did I do? What did I do? Don't fight me, please. I don't wish to be fought. Yes, yes, we do. Hold on, I'm just getting this. There we go. Okay. Perfect. And then change the background back. There we go. Let me drag my model. There we are. I'm sorry, Shadow. You gotta. I'm so all over the place. I'm sorry. Hit me up on Discord. Definitely. I'm much better at responding to people on Discord. I'm just so all over the place. All right, let me do my stretches. Ugh. Ugh. I don't have the throw things activated at the moment. I'm sorry. Actually, Shadow, do you need my Discord? Have I given you my Discord? I don't think I have. I have a very sweaty butt too. Ugh. But let's snooze the ads because we're gonna be popping off here soon. I just need to find somebody to raid. Dusky's alive. She's still alive. Nikto's still alive. Hmm. Could do sister. Ribbit. Ogio. Renko. Ches. Vex. Oh, there's a lot of people. Sklimbo. Huh. Let me think. What is? Oh, sister's playing a Devour. Ooh. You know what? Let's go raid out to sister and enemy. Slash raid. Oops, that's ratty, not raid. Sister anemone. Is that right? Yes. All right. So we're gonna raid out to Sister Anemone, who is. Oh yes, ready me, Daddy. Oh yes. We're gonna raid out to Sister Anemone though, who is playing Devour. So, thank you all so much for joining me. I know this one was shorter than some of the other episodes, but obviously I'm working on other people's schedules for the most part. I'm not really working with my own schedule, which is perfectly fine with me. I don't mind. But it was a lot of fun yapping and vibing with all of you. And yeah, you'll definitely see Marshall on here more. But for now, let's go raid out to Sister Anemone. Much love, many hugs. This is your oh wait, this is your Hug Wizard signing off. I also need to put up the raid message. If you are a sub, you can use the emotes. If not, you can just have the middle message. Up, up, up. So that's the raid message. if you are subbed, you can obviously use the emotes. If you are not subbed,